Welcome to Learn English Through Story. Today, you are not just learning English. You are learning how to build a better life, one small habit at a time. This story is calm, this story is simple, and this story is for you. If you feel tired, stuck, or lost, please stay with me. You don't need to understand every word. Just listen, just feel, and let the story guide you. Many people want to change their life, but most people feel overwhelmed. They think change must be big, fast, and perfect. The truth is simple. Real change starts small, very small. One habit, one decision, one quiet moment. In this video, you will learn 10 simple habits that changed my life. These habits did not make life perfect, but they made life calmer, stronger, more meaningful. You don't need motivation. You don't need talent. You don't need confidence. You only need to start listening. As you listen, you will improve your English. You will learn new words, you will hear simple sentences, and you will understand ideas that can help you every day. This is not a lesson. This is not pressure. This is a story about small habits, a story about quiet change, a story about not giving up. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and give yourself this time. Your journey starts now. Habit 1. Waking up with purpose. There was a time when mornings felt heavy, not because the body was tired, but because the mind had no direction. The alarm rang, and the first feeling was not hope. It was stress. Another day to survive, another day to repeat the same routine. Many people wake up like this every day. Their eyes open, but their mind stays tired. When the day starts without purpose, life slowly feels empty. For a long time, mornings were rushed. The phone was the first thing to touch. Messages, news, and problems entered the mind before peace had a chance. The heart felt fast. The thoughts felt crowded. There was no space to breathe. And when the morning started like this, the rest of the day followed the same path. Stress in the morning became stress all day. This is where everything began to change, not with a big decision, not with motivation, but with one small habit: waking up with purpose. Waking up with purpose does not mean waking up early like a machine. It does not mean forcing happiness or energy. It simply means waking up with awareness. It means taking control of the first moments of the day instead of giving them away. The first change was very small. No phone for a few minutes, just silence. At first, silence felt uncomfortable. The mind wanted noise, but slowly, silence became calm. In those quiet moments, breathing became slower. The body felt safer. The mind stopped running. This small silence changed how the brain worked. When the brain feels safe, it thinks clearly. When it thinks clearly, decisions become easier. After silence came one simple question. What kind of day do I want today? Not a big goal, not a long plan, just one intention. Some days the intention was simple. Today, I will be patient. Today, I will try. Today, I will not give up easily. This intention became a guide. When stress appeared, the intention reminded the mind what mattered. When problems came, the intention brought focus back. Without purpose, the mind reacts. With purpose, the mind responds. This habit did not remove problems, but it changed how problems were faced. Another important part of this habit was slowing down the morning, not rushing immediately into the world. Just a few calm minutes to stretch, breathe, or sit quietly. These minutes created a strong base. A strong base made the whole day easier to handle. Many people think productivity starts with action, but real productivity starts with clarity, and clarity starts in the morning. Waking up with purpose also changed self-respect. Keeping a small promise every morning built trust with myself. Even when the day was hard, I knew one thing. I started with intention. That mattered. Some mornings were still difficult. Some days felt heavy. This habit was not about perfect mornings. It was about returning to calm, returning to awareness, returning to intention. Over time, mornings became less painful. The body woke up easier. The mind felt lighter. The day felt more manageable. Not perfect, but manageable. And manageable is powerful. This habit changed life slowly. It did not bring success overnight, but it stopped life from falling apart. It created direction when everything felt unclear. If you feel tired, stuck, or lost, start here. Not with big goals, not with pressure. Start with how you wake up. Control the beginning, and the rest will slowly follow. This was the first habit, and it changed everything. Habit 2. Showing up every day. There was a time when I only showed up when I felt good. When energy was high, I worked. When motivation came, I tried. But when I felt tired, sad, or confused, I disappeared. Many people live like this. They believe feelings should decide action. If the mood is right, they move. If the mood is wrong, they stop. At first, this feels natural, but slowly it creates a problem. Life becomes unstable, progress becomes random, and confidence begins to fade. Showing up every day does not mean doing everything perfectly. It does not mean pushing hard all the time. It simply means not disappearing from your own life. It means being present even when you do not feel strong, even when you do not feel ready, even when you feel tired inside. This habit was one of the biggest turning points in my life. There were many days when nothing felt right. The mind was heavy. The body was slow. Motivation was gone. On those days, doing nothing felt easy. Skipping effort felt comfortable. But comfort came with a cost. Each time I did not show up, I felt weaker the next day. Promises to myself were broken. Slowly, I stopped trusting myself. This was painful, but it was honest. The problem was not lack of ability, it was lack of consistency. Showing up every day changed this quietly. At first, showing up looked very small. Some days it was only 5 minutes. 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of listening, 5 minutes of movement. It did not feel impressive. It did not feel productive, but it was something. And something is always better than nothing. This habit removed pressure. Instead of asking, "Can I do my best today?" I asked, "Can I do one small thing today?" That question changed everything. One small thing is almost always possible, even on bad days, even on tired days, even on confusing days. Many people quit not because the goal is too hard, but because they expect too much from themselves every day. Showing up every day teaches kindness with discipline. You are kind because you lower the pressure. You are disciplined because you still show up. This balance keeps progress alive. There were days when showing up felt pointless. No results, no progress, no excitement. But later, those days mattered the most. Because those days taught me something important. Consistency builds strength, even when progress is invisible. The mind learns through repetition. Confidence grows through repetition. Identity changes through repetition. When you show up every day, you send a message to your brain. I am reliable. This message is powerful. Over time, the brain starts to believe it. When the brain believes you are reliable, fear reduces, doubt reduces, confidence grows quietly. Showing up also creates rhythm. Rhythm makes life feel stable. When life feels chaotic, rhythm brings calm. Waking up at the same time, learning at the same time, moving at the same time. These small routines tell the mind that life has structure. Structure reduces stress. Another important part of this habit is forgiveness. Some days you will miss. You will forget. You will feel too tired. This is normal. Showing up every day does not mean never missing. It means not quitting after missing. One missed day does not destroy progress. Quitting does. Returning the next day is what matters. Many people feel ashamed after missing a habit. Shame pushes them away. Forgiveness brings them back. This habit teaches quick forgiveness. I missed yesterday, today I return. That is enough. Showing up every day also changes how you see effort. Effort stops feeling dramatic. It becomes normal. When effort is normal, fear loses power. Fear is strongest when action feels rare. When action becomes routine, fear becomes quiet. There were times when I waited to feel motivated, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Showing up does not wait. It moves first. And often, motivation follows action, not the other way around. When you start, energy appears. When you wait, energy disappears. This habit also changes identity deeply. You stop saying, "I try sometimes." You start saying, "I do this every day." This shift matters. Identity shapes behavior. When you see yourself as someone who shows up, you act differently. Choices become easier. Showing up every day also reduces overwhelm. Big goals feel heavy when you think about everything at once. Daily effort breaks goals into small steps. Small steps feel manageable. Manageable steps reduce fear. Another benefit of this habit is emotional stability. When you show up daily, emotions do not control your entire life. You may feel sad, but you still act. You may feel tired, but you still move. This separation between feeling and action builds emotional strength. This habit does not remove bad days. It changes how you move through them. Instead of stopping, you slow down. Instead of quitting, you adjust. This flexibility keeps progress alive. Showing up every day also builds self-respect. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, self-respect grows. Self-respect is quiet confidence. It does not depend on praise. It comes from alignment between words and actions. There were moments when others did not notice effort. No praise, no reward. But this habit taught me something important. Effort still counts, even when no one is watching. Especially then. Life is built in private moments. Showing up every day also teaches patience. Results do not appear quickly. This teaches trust. Trust in the process. Trust in time. Trust in yourself. Comfort wants quick reward. Showing up accepts delay. This habit is especially powerful when life feels stuck. On stuck days, showing up is an act of courage. It says, "I may not see the way forward, but I will not disappear." That decision alone changes the future. Showing up does not mean pushing through pain. Some days, showing up means resting intentionally, listening to the body, being kind. Rest can also be showing up when done consciously. Over time, this habit creates momentum. Momentum makes everything easier. When momentum exists, starting feels lighter. When momentum is lost, starting feels heavy. Showing up protects momentum gently. This habit did not change life overnight, but it stopped life from moving backward. And that was enough to continue. Showing up every day is not impressive. It is powerful. It builds lives quietly. It builds confidence slowly. It builds strength honestly. If you feel tired, remember this. You do not need to do everything today. You only need to show up. That is enough. Habit 3. Controlling your thoughts. There was a time when my life looked normal on the outside, but inside my mind, everything felt loud. Thoughts came without permission. Worries appeared early in the morning. Fear spoke before logic. Even when nothing bad was happening, my mind was already preparing for problems. Many people live like this every day. Their biggest struggle is not life itself, but the thoughts inside their head. This is why learning to control your thoughts becomes one of the most powerful habits in life. Most people believe thoughts are facts. If the mind says something, they believe it. I am not good enough. I will fail. Nothing will change. These thoughts feel real because they repeat often, but repetition does not make something true. It only makes it familiar. This habit begins when you understand one simple truth. A thought is not reality. A thought is just a message. And not every message deserves your attention. At first, controlling thoughts felt impossible. Thoughts came too fast. Stopping them felt like fighting a storm. But this habit is not about stopping thoughts. It is about not following them. When a negative thought appears, Instead of reacting, you pause. You notice it. You say quietly, "This is a thought." That small pause creates space. In that space, you regain choice. Many days started with negative thinking. Before the day even began, the mind predicted failure. Today will be hard. I will not do well. I am already behind. These thoughts created stress before action. Controlling thoughts did not mean replacing them with fake positivity. It meant questioning them gently. Is this helping me? Most of the time, the answer was no. This habit teaches observation. You watch your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. Some are dark, some are light, but none stay forever. When you stop holding on to thoughts, they lose power. When you argue with them, they become stronger. Observation weakens them naturally. Another important part of this habit is learning when thoughts appear. Many negative thoughts come when you are tired, hungry, or overwhelmed. They are signals, not truths. When you take care of the body, thoughts calm down. This is why habits are connected. A calm body supports a calm mind. Language also matters deeply. The way you speak to yourself shapes how you feel. Saying, "I can't," closes the door. Saying, "I will try," keeps it open. Small changes in inner language create big emotional shifts. This habit is not about lying to yourself. It is about choosing words that support effort, not defeat. There were moments when thoughts felt overwhelming. Fear felt stronger than reason. On those days, controlling thoughts meant returning to the body, slow breathing, feeling the ground, listening to silence. The present moment is always calmer than the mind's stories. Most fear lives in the future. Most regret lives in the past. Peace lives in now. This habit also teaches kindness toward yourself. Instead of judging yourself for negative thinking, you accept it. Judgment creates tension. Acceptance creates calm. When you accept that the mind produces negative thoughts sometimes, you stop fighting yourself. Fighting yourself is exhausting. Acceptance is freeing. Controlling thoughts does not mean becoming emotionless. Emotions are human. Sadness, fear, and anger will still appear. The difference is that they no longer control your actions. You feel them, but you do not become them. This separation is life-changing. Pain becomes an experience, not an identity. Over time, this habit creates emotional balance. Stress still comes, but it leaves faster. One bad thought does not ruin the entire day. You recover more quickly. You return to calm more easily. This ability builds resilience. Another powerful part of this habit is reducing mental noise. Constant news, social media, and comparison feed negative thinking. When you limit what enters your mind, thoughts become clearer. Protecting mental space is part of controlling thoughts. Silence is not empty. It is healing. This habit also improves focus. When thoughts are calmer, attention improves. Tasks feel lighter. Learning becomes easier. The mind stops jumping from fear to fear. Focus brings confidence. There were times when old thoughts returned strongly, old doubts, old fears. That does not mean failure. Thoughts are habits too. Habits take time to change. Each time you notice a thought without following it, you weaken it. Progress happens quietly. Controlling thoughts also changes how you see challenges. Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," you think, "This is difficult, but possible." This small shift changes behavior. Possibility creates movement. Hopelessness creates paralysis. This habit supports every other habit. Showing up every day becomes easier when thoughts are calmer. Discipline becomes possible when fear is quieter. Gratitude becomes visible when negative thinking reduces. Everything connects. The habit of controlling thoughts does not promise a perfect mind. It offers a peaceful relationship with the mind. That relationship matters more than silence. A quiet enemy is better than a loud controller. Over time, the mind becomes a safer place to live. You stop feeling attacked by your own thoughts. You start feeling guided. This safety changes everything. If you feel tired, anxious, or stuck, Look at your thoughts, not to judge them, but to understand them. Awareness is power. Power creates choice. Choice creates change. This habit did not remove all problems, but it stopped problems from controlling life. And sometimes, that is the biggest freedom of all. Habit 4. Silence and reflection. There was a time when silence felt uncomfortable. When everything became quiet, the mind became loud. Thoughts rushed in, worries appeared, old memories came back without warning. Because of this, noise felt safer. Music played all the time, videos stayed on, the phone was always in hand. Silence felt empty, but noise felt busy. Many people live like this. They avoid silence because they are afraid of what they might hear inside. But over time, constant noise creates confusion. The mind never rests. This is why the habit of silence and reflection changed my life deeply. Silence does not mean being alone forever. It does not mean cutting off the world. It simply means creating small moments without noise, moments where the mind can breathe, moments where thoughts slow down naturally. At first, silence feels strange. The brain is used to constant information, but silence is not empty. It is full of answers. It shows you how you really feel. Before this habit, life felt rushed. Days passed quickly, but understanding was missing. I was busy, but not clear. I was active, but not present. Reflection could not happen because there was no space. Silence creates that space. When silence appears, the mind begins to organize itself. Problems that felt heavy become clearer. Emotions that were hidden come forward gently. The habit started small. Just a few minutes a day. No phone, no music, no talking, just sitting quietly. At first it felt boring, sometimes uncomfortable. Thoughts jumped everywhere. But slowly, something changed. Breathing became slower. The body relaxed. The mind stopped fighting itself. Silence teaches you to listen, not to others, but to yourself. Many people do not know what they feel because they never stop. They move from task to task, from screen to screen. Silence helps you notice tiredness, stress, and emotions early. When you notice early, you can respond gently instead of breaking later. Reflection is what happens inside silence. Reflection is not overthinking. It is calm thinking. It is asking honest questions without pressure. How am I really feeling? What is draining me? What is helping me? These questions do not need quick answers. Just asking them brings awareness. Awareness brings clarity. At times, reflection showed uncomfortable truths, habits that were unhealthy, patterns that repeated, choices that avoided responsibility. Reflection is honest. It does not judge. It simply shows. Seeing clearly is not punishment. It is guidance. When you see what hurts you, you can change it slowly. Silence also helps the body. When there is no noise, the nervous system relaxes. Heart rate slows. Breathing becomes deeper. Stress reduces. The body feels safe. When the body feels safe, the mind follows. Many mental problems become easier when the body is calm. Another powerful part of silence is rest. Real rest. Not scrolling, not constant sound, just being. Rest repairs the brain. Without rest, stress stays high. High stress makes habits difficult. Silence makes discipline possible. Reflection also builds self-trust. When you listen to yourself regularly, you stop depending only on outside opinions. You begin to trust your inner signals: hunger, tiredness, joy, interest. These signals guide better decisions. Ignoring them leads to burnout. Silence improves focus. When the mind is not crowded, attention becomes stronger. Tasks feel lighter. Learning becomes easier. You are no longer pulled in many directions at once. Focus brings confidence. Another benefit of silence is creativity. Ideas need space. When the mind is full, creativity stops. Silence opens space. Solutions appear naturally. Many insights come during quiet moments, walking alone, sitting quietly, Early mornings. Silence allows deeper thinking. The habit of silence also improves relationships. When you are calm inside, you listen better. You react less. You understand more. Conversations feel softer. People feel safer around calm energy. Silence teaches patience. Some days, silence felt peaceful. Other days, it felt heavy. Both were okay. Silence does not promise comfort every time. It promises honesty, and honesty leads to healing. Silence also helps you see progress. Without reflection, small improvements go unnoticed. Reflection reminds you that effort matters, even when results are slow. This builds motivation gently. Many people think change comes from doing more, but often change comes from doing less. Less noise, less distraction, less pressure. Silence teaches that stopping can be powerful. This habit did not change life loudly. It changed life quietly. The mind became clearer, decisions became easier, stress reduced, life felt lighter. Silence became a place to return when life felt heavy, a safe space where nothing was required, no performance, no comparison, just presence. The habit of silence and reflection taught me something important. Answers do not always come from searching harder. Sometimes they come from listening deeper. If life feels confusing, try silence. If the mind feels tired, try reflection. You do not need hours, just a few honest minutes. This habit did not remove problems, but it gave me clarity to face them, and clarity changes everything. Habit 5. Taking care of your body. For a long time, I believed that success was only about the mind. Thinking better, planning more, pushing harder. I ignored the body. I treated it like a machine that should work all the time. Sleep was short, meals were reminded late, movement was rare, rest felt like weakness. Many people live like this. They expect their body to keep going even when it is tired. But over time, this way of living creates a quiet problem. Energy disappears. Focus breaks. Motivation feels empty. This is why the habit of taking care of your body changed my life more than I expected. The body and the mind are deeply connected. When the body is weak, the mind struggles. When the body is supported, the mind becomes calmer and clearer. Before this habit, I tried to fix my life with thinking alone. But thinking cannot work well when the body is exhausted. Taking care of the body became the foundation for every other habit. This habit did not begin with extreme changes. It began with respect. Respect for limits. Respect for signals. Respect for recovery. The body speaks quietly at first. It sends signals like tiredness, tension, headaches, or lack of focus. Ignoring these signals does not make you strong. It makes you disconnected. Listening early prevents breakdown later. Sleep was the first place where change began. I learned that sleep is not a reward for finishing everything. It is a requirement for functioning well. Without sleep, emotions become unstable. Small problems feel big. Focus disappears. Taking care of the body meant protecting sleep gently, going to bed a little earlier, reducing screen time at night, creating a simple routine. Sleep became fuel, not laziness. When sleep improved, life felt more manageable. Food was another part of this habit. Food is not just taste. It is information for the body. When the body receives poor fuel, energy becomes unstable. Mood changes quickly. Concentration drops. Taking care of the body did not mean eating perfectly. It meant eating regularly, eating enough, drinking water, choosing simple foods when possible. These small choices reduced fatigue and improved mood naturally. Movement also became important. The body is designed to move. When it stays still too long, tension builds. Stress gets trapped. The mind feels heavy. Movement did not need to be intense. Walking was enough. Stretching was enough. Simple movement every day released stress and increased energy. Many times I felt better after moving, even when I did not want to start. This taught me that the body often knows what it needs before the mind agrees. Rest became a new understanding. Rest is not doing nothing. It is allowing the nervous system to recover. Scrolling endlessly is not rest. Noise is not rest. Real rest is quiet, stillness, deep breathing, lying down without guilt. Rest repairs the body. Without rest, stress stays high. High stress makes habits difficult. Rest makes consistency possible. Another part of taking care of the body was breathing. Shallow breathing keeps the body in stress mode. Slow, deep breathing sends a signal of safety. The heart slows. Muscles relax. Mind calms. Breathing became a tool for regulation. Whenever stress appeared, breathing helped bring balance back. Posture also mattered. Tense shoulders, tight jaw, curved back. These positions send signals of stress to the brain. Simple posture awareness reduced tension. Standing tall, relaxing the jaw, letting the shoulders drop. These small changes affected confidence and mood more than expected. Taking care of the body also meant respecting limits. Some days required effort, some days required rest. Pushing every day leads to burnout. Listening creates sustainability. This habit taught balance. Balance keeps progress alive. This habit also built self-respect. When you care for your body, you send a message to yourself. I matter. Many people feel low because they treat themselves as unimportant. Self-care slowly changes that belief. It builds trust with yourself. Energy improved gradually. Focus lasted longer. Emotions became more stable. Anxiety reduced. This did not remove problems, but it made them easier to handle. Many emotional struggles are connected to physical exhaustion. Supporting the body supports emotional health. Taking care of the body also improved discipline. When energy increased, showing up became easier. When sleep improved, focus improved. When movement became regular, motivation returned. Everything connected. There were days when progress felt slow. That was okay. The body heals gradually. Strength builds over time. This taught patience. Quick results are rare. Sustainable change lasts. This habit also reduced comparison. Instead of comparing myself to others, I listened to my own needs. This reduced pressure. Pressure damages the body. Kindness heals it. Over time, the body stopped feeling like a burden. It became a support. Life still had challenges, but the body no longer broke under pressure. It adapted. Taking care of the body is not about appearance. It is about function, energy, stability, calm. When the body feels safe, life feels safer. This habit did not demand perfection. It demanded attention. 1 glass of water, 1 walk, 1 early night. These small actions changed life quietly. The body remembers how it is treated. Treat it with care, and it responds with strength. Treat it with neglect, and it responds with pain. This habit became a foundation. Without it, other habits collapsed. With it, everything became easier. Not easy, but easier. And easier was enough to continue. Habit 6. Discipline over comfort. Comfort feels good. It feels safe. It feels easy. After a long day, comfort quietly invites you to stop trying. Stay in bed. Scroll a little longer. Skip the work. Do it tomorrow. These words sound kind, but over time, they become dangerous. Many people do not fail because they are weak. They fail because comfort slowly takes control. This is why choosing discipline over comfort became one of the most life-changing habits for me. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think discipline means being strict, cold, or harsh. But discipline is not punishment. Discipline is care for your future self. Comfort focuses only on how you feel now. Discipline considers how you will feel later. This difference may seem small in one moment, but over time, it changes everything. There was a time when comfort decided most of my days. If I felt tired, I stopped. If I felt bored, I avoided effort. If something felt uncomfortable, I delayed it. At first, this felt normal, but slowly, life became smaller. Goals stayed unfinished. Confidence disappeared. I did not trust myself anymore. Comfort gave relief in the moment, but regret later. Choosing discipline did not happen suddenly. It started with awareness. I began noticing the exact moment when comfort appeared. It never shouted. It whispered. Just today. You deserve rest. One day doesn't matter. Discipline did not argue loudly. It answered calmly. Do the small thing anyway. That small response changed the direction of my life. Discipline does not require big actions. It begins with small decisions. Waking up when you want to sleep more. Starting even when you feel unsure. Continuing even when excitement is gone. These actions are not dramatic. No one applauds them. But they build strength quietly. Comfort never builds strength. Discipline always does. One of the biggest lessons was this. You do not need to feel ready to act. Waiting for motivation often leads to waiting forever. Discipline acts first. Motivation often follows action, not the other way around. When I started doing the work, even without motivation, energy slowly appeared. When I waited, energy disappeared. There were days when discipline felt heavy. The body resisted. The mind complained. But after the action was done, something surprising happened. A quiet pride appeared. Not loud happiness, but self-respect. The feeling of, I did not quit. That feeling matters more than comfort. It builds confidence that lasts. Choosing discipline over comfort also taught honesty. Comfort often lies. It says rest is needed when avoidance is the real reason. Discipline asks one honest question. Am I resting or am I escaping? This question brings clarity. Clarity leads to better choices. Discipline does not remove joy from life. It protects it. When discipline creates structure, comfort becomes meaningful again. Rest feels earned. Relaxation feels deeper. Without discipline, comfort becomes escape. With discipline, comfort becomes recovery. Another powerful part of this habit is routine. Discipline becomes easier when it is not emotional. Doing something at the same time every day removes decision stress. You do not debate. You do not negotiate. You simply do it. Comfort loves debate. Discipline loves routine. There were days when discipline needed to be gentle. There were days when it needed to be firm. Both were important. Discipline is not rigid. It adjusts without quitting. If energy was low, discipline chose a smaller task, not zero. This flexibility kept progress alive. Choosing discipline also changed identity. I stopped seeing myself as someone who tries sometimes. I started seeing myself as someone who does what needs to be done. Identity shapes behavior. When you believe you are disciplined, your actions naturally follow. Discipline over comfort also reduced regret. Many regrets come from comfort-based decisions, avoiding effort, choosing ease. Discipline reduces regret because actions align with values. Habit 7. Learning every day. For a long time, learning felt like something from the past, something connected to school, exams, and pressure. Once school ended, learning slowly stopped. Life became busy. Work, problems, and responsibilities filled the days. Many people believe learning is only for students. But when learning stops, growth slows. Confidence weakens. Life begins to feel repetitive. This is why the habit of learning every day became one of the most powerful changes in my life. Learning every day does not mean studying for many hours. It does not mean reading difficult books or memorizing facts. It means staying curious. It means allowing your mind to grow a little every day. Even 5 minutes matters. One new word, one new idea, one small lesson. These small actions protect the mind from becoming tired and closed. Before this habit, I often felt behind. The world was changing, but I felt stuck. New ideas felt confusing. Conversations felt difficult. This created insecurity. I avoided learning because it reminded me of what I did not know. But avoiding learning only made the gap bigger. Learning every day slowly closed that gap. The habit started very small. listening to short stories, watching simple videos, reading one page. There was no pressure to understand everything. Understanding came naturally through repetition. This removed fear. Fear blocks learning. Safety opens it. Learning every day builds confidence quietly. Each time you learn something new, your brain receives a message. I can grow. This message is powerful. It changes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is behind. You start seeing yourself as someone who is learning. That shift alone changes behavior. Learning also reduces fear. Many fears come from not understanding. When you learn, confusion reduces. Understanding grows. The unknown becomes familiar. Familiar things feel less scary. This is why learning is not just about knowledge. It is about emotional strength. There were days when learning felt slow. Progress felt invisible. But learning works quietly, like water shaping stone, slowly, patiently. Over time, change appears. Vocabulary grows. Thinking becomes clearer. Expression improves. Confidence builds. The process cannot be rushed, but it never fails when repeated. Learning every day also improves focus. When the mind is active in a healthy way, it stops chasing meaningless distractions. Learning gives direction to attention. This reduces mental noise. Calm attention feels good. This habit also teaches humility. Learning means accepting that you do not know everything. This acceptance is freeing. You stop pretending. You stop comparing. You focus on progress instead of image. Humility keeps the mind open. An open mind learns faster. Mistakes become part of learning. Before, mistakes felt embarrassing. Now, mistakes felt normal. Learning without mistakes is impossible. When mistakes lose emotional weight, learning becomes enjoyable. Another important part of this habit is consistency. Learning a little every day is stronger than learning a lot once a week. The brain remembers repeated exposure better. Daily learning creates familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort. Comfort creates confidence. Learning also improves communication. When you learn new words and ideas, you express yourself better. You listen better. You understand others more clearly. This improves relationships naturally. Learning every day protects mental health. A learning mind stays flexible. It adapts. When challenges appear, a learning mind searches for solutions instead of giving up. This adaptability is strength. There were days when motivation was low. On those days, learning meant showing up gently, just listening, just reading one sentence. Progress still counted. This removed pressure and kept the habit alive. Learning does not need to be serious all the time. Stories, conversations, and experiences are also learning. Enjoyment increases consistency. When learning feels light, it becomes sustainable. This habit also supports other habits. Discipline becomes easier when learning explains why effort matters. Gratitude becomes deeper when learning brings perspective. Reflection becomes richer when learning adds understanding. Everything connects. Learning every day also creates hope. When you learn, you believe in tomorrow. You believe change is possible. Learning reminds you that life is not fixed. You are not fixed. Growth is always available. Another benefit of this habit is patience. Learning teaches that growth takes time. This patience spreads into other areas of life. You become kinder with yourself, kinder with others. Learning every day does not make you perfect. It makes you alive inside, curious, engaged, present. When curiosity disappears, life feels dull. Learning keeps curiosity alive. This habit also reduces regret. Regret often comes from stagnation, from feeling stuck. Learning creates movement. Even slow movement reduces regret. Over time, learning becomes part of identity. You stop saying, I am not good at this. You start saying, I am learning. This identity is powerful. It keeps doors open. Learning every day changed how I saw myself. I was no longer behind. I was simply on my path. This habit did not change life loudly. It changed it steadily. Quiet progress replaced fear. Curiosity replaced shame. Learning every day keeps the mind young, flexible, and hopeful. And hope changes everything. Habit 8. Letting go of toxic patterns. For a long time, life felt heavy, but I could not clearly explain why. Nothing was completely broken, yet peace was missing. Days passed, but energy slowly disappeared. The same problems returned again and again. The same thoughts, the same reactions, the same mistakes. This was not bad luck. It was patterns, toxic patterns that repeated quietly. Many people live inside these patterns without noticing them. This is why learning to let go of toxic patterns became one of the most important habits in my life. Toxic patterns are not always loud or obvious. They do not always look dangerous. Sometimes they feel normal, familiar, comfortable, and that is why they stay. Overthinking the same problems, speaking badly to yourself, staying in places where you are not respected, avoiding responsibility, saying yes when you want to say no. These patterns slowly drain energy. They do not destroy life suddenly. They weaken it slowly. Letting go does not start with action. It starts with awareness. You begin to notice what hurts you again and again. You notice what keeps you stuck. You notice what steals peace instead of building it. Awareness is powerful. Without awareness, patterns repeat automatically. With awareness, choice appears. At first, noticing these patterns felt uncomfortable. It was easier to blame others or circumstances. But reflection showed something important. Many patterns continued because I allowed them. Not because I wanted pain, but because change felt scary. The mind prefers what it knows, even if it hurts. Pain feels safer than the unknown. This is human, but staying in toxic patterns has a high cost. Letting go does not mean anger. It does not mean blaming people. It does not mean cutting everything instantly. Letting go means choosing yourself gently. It means deciding that peace matters more than familiarity. This decision is quiet but powerful. One of the hardest toxic patterns to release was negative self-talk. The voice inside that said, "You are not enough. You always fail. You will never change." This voice felt real because it was repeated often. But repetition does not mean truth. Letting go of this pattern meant questioning it, not fighting it, just asking, "Is this helping me?" When the answer was no, I learned to release it slowly. Another toxic pattern was staying too long in situations that limited growth. Sometimes this was a routine, sometimes a mindset, sometimes a relationship. Staying where growth is impossible slowly kills motivation. Letting go meant admitting that something no longer fit. This admission felt like failure at first. Later, it felt like honesty. And honesty brings freedom. People can also be part of toxic patterns. Not everyone who hurts you is bad. Some people simply cannot grow with you. They may disrespect boundaries. They may drain energy. They may keep you stuck in the past. Letting go does not require hate. It requires clarity. You can care about people and still choose distance. Distance is sometimes necessary for healing. Another toxic pattern was short-term comfort habits. Endless scrolling, avoiding difficult tasks, escaping responsibility. These habits gave quick relief, but long regret. Letting go did not mean stopping everything at once. It meant noticing when comfort was becoming escape. Small changes made a big difference. Letting go also required forgiveness, forgiving others, but more importantly, forgiving myself. Many patterns continued because of shame. Shame keeps people stuck. Forgiveness releases that grip. When I forgave myself for past mistakes, I stopped repeating them unconsciously. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is freeing. This habit taught patience. Toxic patterns are built over years. They do not disappear in one day. Some days, old habits returned. That did not mean failure. It meant awareness was growing. Each time I noticed a pattern and chose differently, even once, the pattern weakened. Progress happened quietly. Letting go also built self-respect. Each time I stopped tolerating what hurt me, I sent a message to myself. I matter. This message changed how I made decisions. Boundaries became clearer. Self-respect grew slowly but strongly. Another important part of letting go was accepting discomfort. Growth feels uncomfortable. Letting go feels like loss at first. Loss of people, loss of habits, loss of identity. But over time, I learned that letting go creates space. Space for calm, space for better habits, space for peace. This habit also changed emotional weight. The mind felt lighter. Decisions became clearer. Energy returned. Life did not become perfect, but it became honest. Honest life is easier to manage than fake comfort. Letting go taught courage. Courage is not loud. It is quiet decision-making. Choosing peace over familiarity. Choosing growth over comfort. Choosing self-respect over approval. These choices build inner strength. This habit also improved focus. Without toxic patterns pulling attention, the mind could focus on what mattered. Goals felt clearer. Effort felt meaningful. Letting go did not remove all problems. Life will always have challenges. But it removed unnecessary suffering. It removed pain that was repeated by choice, not by fate. Over time, identity changed. I was no longer someone who survived pain. I became someone who chose peace. This shift changed everything. Journey through this habit showed me something important. Growth is not always about adding more habits, more goals, more effort. Sometimes growth is about removing what hurts. Subtraction is also progress. Letting go is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is choosing health over habit, peace over familiarity, growth over fear. This habit did not change life overnight, but it removed what was slowly destroying it, and that made all the difference. Habit 9. Gratitude and simplicity. There was a time when life always felt unfinished. Even when something good happened, it was never enough. The mind quickly moved to the next problem, the next goal, the next desire. More money, more success, more approval, more happiness. Peace felt far away. Many people live like this every day. They keep chasing, but they never feel full. This is why the habit of gratitude and simplicity became one of the most calming changes in my life. Gratitude begins with noticing. Noticing what is already present. Breathing without pain, a place to sleep, food on the table, a moment of quiet. These things feel normal, so the mind ignores them. But normal does not mean unimportant. Gratitude trains the mind to see balance. When the mind sees balance, stress reduces. At first, gratitude felt strange. Saying thank you inside did not change my feelings immediately. Problems were still there. Stress was still there. But gratitude is not about removing problems. It is about changing focus. When focus changes, emotions follow slowly. Gratitude also helps the mind stop comparing. Comparison steals peace. Looking at others creates pressure. Gratitude brings attention back to your own life, your own path, your own progress. This reduces anxiety and increases calm. Simplicity works together with gratitude. Simplicity means reducing noise, less comparison, less unnecessary pressure, less filling time with things that drain energy. When life becomes simpler, the mind becomes lighter. Many people are tired not because they do too much, but because they think too much. Simplicity quiets the mind. Before this habit, I believed happiness would come after success, after reaching goals, after fixing everything. But gratitude taught me something important. Happiness can exist before everything is perfect. Peace does not need permission from the future. It lives in the present. Gratitude does not mean pretending everything is good. It does not mean ignoring pain. It means holding two truths at the same time. This is difficult, and this is not all bad. This balance builds emotional strength. Without gratitude, pain feels endless. With gratitude, pain feels manageable. Simplicity also changed daily choices. I stopped filling time with constant noise, endless scrolling, too much information, busy schedules without meaning. I started choosing fewer things with more intention. This created space, space for rest, space for reflection, space for joy. Gratitude improved relationships. When I focused on what people did right instead of what they did wrong, connection improved. Small kindness felt bigger. Conversations felt warmer. Gratitude softened judgment. Judgment creates distance. Gratitude creates closeness. Another powerful part of gratitude is presence. When you appreciate the moment, you stay in it. You stop rushing. You stop waiting for something else to happen. Anxiety often lives in the future. Regret lives in the past. Gratitude brings the mind back to now. Simplicity helped me let go of excess expectations. Expectations that created pressure. Pressure that created disappointment. Letting go did not mean giving up on goals. It meant enjoying the journey without constant dissatisfaction. There were days when life was still hard. Gratitude did not remove struggle completely, but it changed the background feeling. Life felt lighter, more stable. Gratitude acted like a soft cushion during difficult times. This habit also built resilience. When challenges appeared, gratitude reminded me of past strength. I survived before. I have support. This memory built courage quietly. Gratitude changed identity. I stopped seeing myself as lacking. I started seeing myself as enough. Enough does not mean finished. It means worthy now. This belief reduced pressure. Pressure blocks growth. Calm supports it. Simplicity protected time. Time is limited. Simplifying priorities helped me focus on what mattered. Less distraction meant deeper focus. Deeper focus brought satisfaction. Satisfaction reduced the need for more. Gratitude can be practiced simply. Writing one thing you appreciate, saying thank you silently, pausing to notice something good. These small actions train the brain. The brain learns through repetition. Over time, gratitude rewired thinking. The mind became less reactive, more balanced, more peaceful. Negative thoughts did not disappear, but they lost control. Gratitude also taught humility. Not everything was earned alone. Support came from many places. This understanding created softness. Softness does not mean weakness. It means openness. Simplicity and gratitude together created contentment. Contentment is not stopping growth. It is enjoying growth without stress. Without contentment, success never feels enough. This habit also reduced regret. Regret often comes from ignoring what we already have. Gratitude brings appreciation. Appreciation brings peace. Journey through gratitude and simplicity showed me that happiness is not always about adding more. Sometimes it is about noticing more. Noticing what already supports you. This habit did not change the outside world. It changed the inside world. And that change affected everything else. Gratitude and simplicity created a calm foundation. From that foundation, growth became gentle instead of exhausting. Life felt lighter, even when it was not easy. Habit 10. Never giving up on yourself. There was a moment when giving up felt easier than continuing, not because life was impossible, but because hope felt tired. The mind was exhausted from trying. The heart was tired of waiting. Many people reach this place quietly. They do not shout. They do not cry loudly. They simply stop believing. They still wake up. They still go to work. But inside, they have already quit. This is the most dangerous place to be. Not failure, not pain, but silent surrender. This is why the habit of never giving up on yourself is the most important habit of all. Never giving up does not mean being strong every day. It does not mean pushing hard all the time. It means staying connected to yourself even when you feel weak. It means saying, I am not finished, even when progress is slow. Many people think giving up happens in one big moment. In reality, it happens through small decisions, skipping effort, avoiding responsibility, stopping belief. This habit interrupts that pattern gently. There were days when everything felt wrong. Habits failed, motivation disappeared, old patterns returned. On those days, quitting felt logical, but logic is not always truth. Feelings change, states change. The habit of never giving up understands this. It does not demand perfection. It asks for loyalty to yourself. Loyalty means returning again and again, even after falling. Never giving up also means changing how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "I always fail," you say, "I failed today." This small change matters. It keeps the future open. Identity is powerful. When you identify as someone who never gives up, failure becomes a pause, not an ending. This habit teaches patience with your own timeline. Growth is not straight. Some days move forward, some days move backward. Both are part of the journey. Many people quit because they expect constant progress. Never giving up accepts fluctuation. It understands that slow days are not signs of weakness. They are signs of being human. Never giving up also means asking for help when needed. Strength does not mean doing everything alone. Strength includes reaching out, learning from others, accepting support. Asking for help is not quitting. It is continuing in a smarter way. This habit also means remembering why you started. When effort feels heavy, purpose becomes fuel. Purpose does not need to be big. It can be simple. Peace, stability, growth, respect for yourself. Returning to purpose brings direction back. There were moments when the future felt unclear. No clear plan, no clear goal. On those days, never giving up meant focusing on the next small step. Not the whole journey, just one step. Life becomes manageable when broken into moments. Never giving up also requires forgiveness. Forgiving missed days, forgiving mistakes, forgiving slow progress. Shame pushes people to quit. Forgiveness brings them back. When you forgive yourself, you give yourself permission to continue. Another part of this habit is trust. Trust that effort matters even when results are invisible. Trust that change is happening quietly. Trust that consistency builds strength over time. Many people quit because they cannot see progress. Never giving up trusts the process without needing proof every day. This habit also changes your relationship with fear. Fear does not disappear, but it loses control. When you decide not to quit, fear becomes noise instead of a command. Acting despite fear builds courage. Courage grows through repetition. Never giving up does not mean staying in the same place forever. Sometimes, never giving up means changing direction, not stopping. Adjusting goals, leaving what hurts, staying loyal to growth, not to pain. Over time, this habit changes identity deeply. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You see yourself as resilient. Resilience is not loud. It is quiet endurance. It is standing up one more time than you fall. Never giving up also brings peace. When you know you will not abandon yourself, anxiety reduces. You trust yourself to face whatever comes. This trust makes life feel safer, even when uncertain. This habit connects all other habits. Waking up with purpose gives direction. Showing up every day builds consistency. Controlling thoughts brings calm. Silence brings clarity. Caring for the body builds energy. Discipline builds structure. Learning builds confidence. Letting go removes pain. Gratitude brings peace. Never giving up keeps everything alive. Without this habit, other habits fade during hard times. With this habit, nothing is truly lost. You may pause, you may slow down, but you return. There were times when progress felt invisible, but survival itself was progress. Staying was progress. Choosing not to quit was progress. Many victories are quiet. They still matter. Never giving up is not about success. It is about your relationship with yourself. When you stay, you tell yourself, "I matter." This message is healing. It changes how you live. Life will test you. There will be days when quitting feels reasonable. On those days, remember this. You do not need to win today. You only need to stay. Stay curious, stay patient, stay kind to yourself. This habit did not change life overnight, but it saved it, slowly, quietly, honestly. If this series helped you even a little, do not stop here. Listen again to improve your English and strengthen your mindset. Save this video for days when you feel tired or lost. Share it with someone who needs a calm reminder to keep going. Most importantly, choose one habit from this series and practice it today. Not perfectly, just honestly. You do not need to change your whole life today. You only need to stop giving up on yourself. Stay, try again, and keep going.